Hello, everyone, and welcome to another pop-up PD with Mote. My name's John, and I'm here with Greg. Greg, how are you?
I'm well, John. Thanks for having me, and I'm super excited to get into this pop-up this morning with you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to jump straight in, and I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen really quickly. So what I've got here is I've got a Jamboard. Now, for those of you that might have missed it, first of all, if you missed it, where have you been? But at the beginning of last week, we launched Sticky Motes. Sticky Motes allow anyone with the Mote extension installed to be able to basically to attach a voice note to any content on the web. So super powerful, but a nice way to actually share just how powerful it is with a quick demo. So I've got a Jamboard here. Now I'm sure you're a fan of Jamboard, Greg. You've used them a fair bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Across every device. It's awesome.
Perfect. So, and that's a really important point. We are currently looking at the browser version of a Jam. So this to the untrained eye might look like a regular Jamboard. If you look a little bit closely though, we've got this purple button on the right-hand side. Now, what happens when I press that? Well, this is a sticky note that I've actually preloaded onto this page. When I click on the sticky note, you will see that I've now got a clickable note card that's actually sitting on top of this particular Jam. So let's imagine that I shared it with my students through Google Classroom. They've clicked on the note and it's taken them here. I've now got this window that I can move around. I can listen to the audio like so. Hi, everyone, by dragging an emoji. And I've even got the transcription below, which I'm sure, as you know, with the unlimited version, could be translated into lots of other languages. Okay, so this is one way that I think is really exciting to see what all of our community of educators all over the world just see what they do with this. I think it's going to be a great addition to those of us that use Google. Greg, have you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's so powerful. We talk, John, all the time about creating more accessible activities for students and just kind of removing barriers for kids, their ability to know and understand what's going on. And then you even mentioned that feature of when you record your audio on that Jamboard, you can push that Mote link directly to Google Classroom and just keep removing more barriers to make it so reasonable for kids to get there and know what they have to do.
Absolutely. So without any further ado, we're going to jump into to a demonstration with Greg. Now, if you've joined us at any of these pop-up PDs before, you will know that Greg has lots of wonderful ideas. So I'm really excited to see what you've come up with now. Greg, I'm going to share your screen and I'm going to leave it to you.
Yeah, let's get into it. So, rubrics are just such a kind of staple part of every classroom. So what I was kind of experimenting with is the idea of how can we create rubrics that give students better insight into what we're thinking, or they, besides seeing a cell or a part of the rubric highlighted or written in or circled, they can really understand why we gave them that evaluation and then room for opportunity to move forward. So I like to build rubrics in Google Sheets, and here's one that we've mocked up. And, this is my design for an audio rubric with Mote. So we have kind of category number 1 and category number 2. We have different assessment criteria, and then super standard kind of does not meet the standard all the way up to exceeding the standard 1, 2, 3, 4. What I also have here, which I think is really helpful, notice we have audio feedback and comments, and it says insert audio here, another space for the teacher down below to insert audio here. And then if we even scroll down a bit, I added 2 more locations, just kind of overall big picture thinking of strengths exhibited by the work and areas for growth. And the teacher, again, can insert audio. Now, how do we do that, right? So what we're going to do is use the Mote Chrome extension up in the top corner of my browser, and I'm tapping on that now. I will record my voice. So this might be John's work, and I can say, John, there were so many outstanding strengths that you exhibited in this piece. Here's strength number 1, strength number 2. We've seen tremendous growth in this particular area. You took my feedback from the previous, task, and you've clearly kind of embraced it and embedded it in your work here. So well done. And I can't wait to see what your work looks like moving forward. So we stop, and there's our recording. Now, right here in our recent Motes, there's the hyperlink, right, to my Mote that I just recorded, my 22-second audio. It's copied to my clipboard already. I always tap this little copy icon just to grab it one more time. And what I'm going to do now is scroll down a bit, highlight where it says insert Mote audio here, and I can make that text clickable by embedding the link, Or if I'm in a rush for time, no big deal. I can just simply embed my link right there. Now, here's the beauty of it. When the student hovers over that link, they have an embedded audio card, really similar to what we saw John just demonstrate with the sticky Mote concept. So it's right here. They can tap. So this might be John's work, and I can say, John, and that's the feedback that they get to hear. Now, because we're in Google Sheets and I wanted to make this even maybe a little more enticing to go down the road of audio rubrics, I've done a bit of coding as well. We have a note up here that says, if you add an asterisk to any cell in this rubric, the cell will automatically color code with the appropriate color, and the point value will be added off to the right. So if I said an assessment criteria number 1, John excelled, what I'm going to do is just add an asterisk into that cell, hit enter, it gets color coded purple, the text turns white, it drops a 4 over here. If he met the standard here, let me just drop in my little asterisk, there we go. So all I have to do now is just add asterisks, and we know John is an outstanding student, so he's exceeding the standard across the board. And now you can see it adds all of the points automatically. And then we have our little total down here, 22 out of the total. What was that, a 24-point assignment? So that's the process here. What you can absolutely have access to, this is up on the Mote blog, and we'll make sure that this gets posted along with the live stream. You can make a copy of this rubric. There's an entire video walkthrough where I demonstrate how to build these things, how to add your audio, and kind of really examining the potential for providing really high quality feedback with audio. We have other rubrics as well. There's a standard one that doesn't have the point auto grading. You can add those in manually. And then we've also made a single point rubric, which is just another powerful way where you're really identifying areas of improvement, areas where students are exceeding the standard. And then we have the ability for you to drop audio and text on either side of that single pointer. So that is audio rubrics with Mote. John,
oh my goodness,
ideas?
Oh my goodness, Greg, that is mind-blowing stuff, especially because it looks like I had an extremely favorable score in my rubric there. So I'll definitely be asking for you to share that with me after this particular stream. Greg, I think that one of the things which is wonderful about using voice is, yes, it can kind of really help with the speed of like completion of rubrics and stuff like that. But also when the student is actually listening to the teacher's voice, I think that it removes any like it can remove lots of possibility for things to be misunderstood. And I think that those positive messages about areas for improvement that you might attach to a rubric would just 10x their impact using something like this. And did you mention that this was part of a blog post, Greg? I'm sure I heard you say that.
Yeah, so this is all available on the Mote blog. I can grab the link to that actually and drop that in the chat. Hold on. Fantastic.
And I've also shared as a link to the stream that we're actually just launching super recently. So this is an exclusive for members of the Mote Teachers group on Facebook. We have just launched a new learning hub. So if you go to learn.justmote.me, you will be taken to our latest place for ideas to be shared, to be enjoyed, and for hopefully learners all over the world to be benefiting from. Okay, Greg, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and just give one more example of how we might want to use sticky Motes with Jamboard. So let me just sort that out. Okay. This time I'm going to share my entire screen, so you won't get quite the same audio experience as before, but hopefully it is still there and working nicely. I can see it now. So yeah, so Greg did mention this before. Part of the launch of Sticky Motes, we also pushed out the Share to Classroom button, which I know for those of us that have used Google Classroom is a super useful addition. The way that you access Share to Classroom is you go to your My Activity link. Just as a reminder of how to do that, you tap on the extension at the top of your browser, and then just where it says My Activity and Engagement, and it will take you to a page that looks much like this. Now, the recent addition here is this Share to Classroom. So when I press on Share to Classroom, you'll see the following happens. A new tab is opened up for me. I'm then going to be instructed to choose my class, and I can choose how I'd like to share it. What I'd like this to be shared as is an assignment. So I'm going to go through the process here as I would do normally and choose a topic. Jamming sounds good to me. And all I'm going to ask my class to do is please visit this link. So when I've assigned it to my class, I'll get a notification that it's been posted. What does it look like for students with Mote installed? Well, this is what it looks like, Greg. I'm glad you asked. The following is going to happen. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to find my link, and I'm going to click on the sticky Mote. And in just a second, what it's doing is it's checking that I've got Mote installed into my browser. And you'll then see any student in my class that has Mote installed will get this. So I can still put the instructions within Classroom, of course, but how cool is it that I can now have the instructions as a sticky Mote? I can move around the screen. I can listen to my teacher's voice. And I can also read the transcription. So in this case, the teacher has asked me to let them know how I'm feeling by completing an emoji. So I am super happy, particularly with the rubric that I just had sent back to me by my very inspirational teacher. So I'm just going to do a nice smiley face, and I know that that will make teachers like Greg have a very warm feeling inside to know that they've made this special impact with their students. Right. So I am going to just say, if you have any questions about how to use sticky Motes, how to use Share to Classroom, or as Greg was saying, any of his wonderful resources that he's been sharing both to the to this pop-up PD, but also to our learning resource, we have shared the link into this stream. But it's super easy to remember. It's just learn.justmote.me, and we've also got lots of resources being shared all the time to our YouTube channel and through socials. Greg, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll add that all the stuff we've shared, the audit rubric idea, we'll post it on the Facebook group. We'll get it out on our socials. So follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, get your hands on any of that. Can I give a quick shout out to a former colleague of mine who taught me how to do that Google Sheet stuff?
Please do. So I'm sure it'll make their day.
Yeah, so Katrina Kennett, who used to teach right next door to me many years ago, she showed me how to do all that Google Sheets coding, the auto color coding, the auto grading. So I want to shout out Katrina because she's super brilliant with that stuff. And then we've just added this really cool layer of Mote. I totally agree with what you mean too, of like the tone of the teacher's voice. When the student opens the rubric, instead of just circled indicators of how they did, they actually get to hear them talking, which is just really powerful stuff.
Certainly is. It certainly is. Well, that is the end of this session of powerful stuff. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. So until next time, it's goodbye from me in England.
I'm signing off from just north of Boston, and we'll see you in the next pop-up PD, everyone.
Cheers, Greg. Bye for now, everyone.
See you, John.